This may be an unfair question to ask you, David, but looking back to the mid-1860s, so before Canada became Canada per se, how would you typify the nature and scale of the threat by the Fenians to British North America during that time period? Was it really just a pinprick, sort of a little gnat on the shoulder of British North America, or could it have been, as you've been sort of alluding to, I think, it could have been actually much more serious?
It could have been more serious, much more serious, perhaps not. There was no way that Irish Fenians were going to take over Canada. That was just not going to happen. They misread the situation in Canada, as well as misreading the American government's position. They believed that French Canadians, fellow Catholics trapped in an alien British Empire, would at the very least be neutral and quite possibly join them. And they believed that Irish Catholics, and there were many of them in Canada at that time, would also either be neutral or join them. And indeed, a minority of Irish Catholics did support the Fenian Brotherhood, which is one of the things I've been working on actually in my most recent book, Fenianism inside Canada. But they were not strong enough in and of themselves to actually conquer Canada, but they were strong enough and potentially strong enough to do quite a lot of damage. Economic damage. I mean, the cost of calling out the militia regularly, because it was just one alarm after another. I mean, this went on for 5 years, from 1866 through to 1870, when there was another invasion attempt in May of 1870. There was always the possibility that the Fenians could get a foothold in Canada if they could just hold it for a week. And if the American government was prepared to look the other way, that more Irish Americans would come and join them. And they would have done. I mean, they absolutely would have done. So they could have produced a situation in which much more blood was shed. But in my view, it was ultimately a futile cause. Having said that, I mean, you have to put yourself in the position of the Fenians who supported the invasion if you're going to understand them. Otherwise, you're just going to ridicule them as having this harebrained scheme to liberate Ireland by invading Canada. What are you guys smoking? But from their perspective, given the assumptions they made, which we in retrospect know were false assumptions about Irish Canadians, about French Canadians, about the American government, their position.
It made sense for them.
Yeah.